What's going on, everybody? It is August 30th, 2022, and this is episode 2 of the Daily Logs. So I'm going to go over what happened today in US 500. We had a pretty nice move. I didn't participate in it, unfortunately. There really wasn't a super clean model. There was something I'll talk about during lunch that I potentially would have gotten into. I was away from the charts. I know ICT caught it, so it was a really nice trade. Overall, pretty nice move today. There was this fair value gap sitting here that we drew into. I'm not sure if I mentioned it yesterday, but I definitely was leaning bearish. I'll go over the lower time frames and what I suggested yesterday because I think it was really cool to see it play out. As far as the rest of the week, we could continue lower. I would like a swing low to be in place. I don't think this is bullish by any means, just because we drew into this busy. I just think that was kind of a PDR rated target overall. I would like to see maybe a new low to be formed, and then right before we take out the sell side here, I'd like some type of a little deeper retracement into a premium. So we'll kind of see how the week plays out. I know NFPs on Friday. ICT suggest on Wednesday you should be done trading by New York. But sometimes I like to see what the week can bring. I don't trade NFP. Without further ado, let's go into the 4-hour time frame. Yesterday I was talking about how I didn't believe price was going to draw up into here or even fully close that in. I said we may make one more high and then run the sell side, which we did. We ran the previous day high. So that was the previous day high, and then we ran into the redelivered rebalanced. I had this highlighted yesterday, but I didn't talk too much about it. But I was looking at this redelivered rebalance and the daily time frame coming back into that and then selling off from there. So redelivered, rebalanced ICTs talked about. I think it was in the YouTube mentorship. And basically we closed underneath the SIBI and returned back into it. So we have sell side one side, or buy side one side, then sell side, and then finally rebalance to the fair value gap down here. Looking at the 1 hour, this was pretty cool as well. If you go all the way back to the 1 hour fair value gap, we basically closed it into a T. The body stayed just underneath the premium end of that delivered rebalanced. We also came into this fair value gap. I was targeting this yesterday. And then if you look on the lower time frames, we had buy stops ran, returned into this fair value gap here. So if you look at the premium end of the fair value gap, we fully closed that in there. So that's really cool to see. We did that at London session basically, and then we just rolled over. We had news at 9 o'clock, or at least 10 a.m. New York. And we just sold off. There really wasn't anything on lower time frames besides during lunch. That was a nice retracement into a fair value gap. You know, maybe earlier before the opening, there was a little fair value gap here on the 5-minute, returned into it, and then we just sold off. I mean, this is the YouTube model. We run buy side. This is New York, or the opening price. So I really like to use this coming into New York because I asked myself, okay, do you think you set the high of the day yet? Or did the market set the high of the day yet, or the low of the day? Do you think the lower high can be created during the session, etc., etc.? So I was leaning super bearish. I was looking at the relative equal lows and then the sell side resting underneath here and then the previous day low as well. All of those were targets for me. But like I said, there just really wasn't anything in here that was too appealing. And then during lunch session, right when it started, I know ICT caught this trade. I'll go down to a 1 minute. This was pretty interesting to watch play out. We returned into this fair value gap here. Closed it all the way in. This is the YouTube model. We run buy side. Have a displacement lower. Shift to market structure. You could do underneath this low here. And then there is a fair value gap here, but if you look a little bit closer, I'm just going to use a box. This entire thing is a breaker here. I'll change this to blue. So we run buy stops, return into the fair value gap. We have a displacement lower, market structure shift here, fair value gap, breaker. These are all the last down close candles before the displacement lower, and then we just steadily drift lower. And I believe this was right about a 30-point move. Let's just say hypothetically it was here. Even a 10-point stop above the high is not bad. And we run beneath the low. That's 23 points. And you can leave a partial running, potentially 30. So, and if you got in from the high, that was easily 30 points. So to me, that was the only setup available today. I unfortunately didn't catch it. I'm still kind of really waiting for September, so next week to hit, and that's when price is going to really start looking nice. And that's really what I'm waiting for. As far as the rest of the week, like I said, there is sell side resting here at 39.12, which I think we can drop into potentially over the next day or two. Fair value gap here as well. I wouldn't trust this order block if we retrace that deep into a premium personally. I think at that point we would run the buy side liquidity, previous day high here, and we might get a deeper retracement into the SIBI here. So we'll just have to play it by ear and see what happens by the end of the week. With that being said, appreciate you guys. Subscribe and like the video. Thanks.